Hey guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today we're back with another series review and I'm going to be talking about adult romance series Curve by the author Danielle Allen. So this series features 3 books. The first one being Curvy Girl Summer, then we have Plus Size Player, and then the third and final book that is actually being released today, which is April 14th, we have Big Girl Blitz. So each of these books focuses on one friend from this main friend group. And the friend group does show up in each of the books, but the focus is on one of these friends. So the first book we focus on Aaliyah, then we have Nina, and then the third book we have Jasmine. Each of these characters, they are plus size, and their size does play a huge part in their overall story as well as the romantic relationships that they develop in their stories. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys right now, I adored this series. I have enjoyed every single book. I have been anticipating every single release, and I gave all of these books 4 stars. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and give you guys a synopsis over each book, tell you my thoughts, so we will go ahead and get started. So the first book that we're gonna talk about, book 1 in the series, we have Curvy Girl Summer. And in this one, this is Aaliyah's story. And so at the start of the story, Aaliyah is about to turn 30. She has this huge birthday bash planned, and her primary goal for her birthday party is that she wants to come with a boyfriend. She hasn't had much luck in the dating world, but she's gonna give it another go. She's going to do the online dating thing. So her very first online date did not go well while she was at the bar. Her date ends up leaving, she stays behind, and she actually starts chatting it up with the bartender, Ahmad. Immediately, she sees that he is wearing a wedding ring, so she knows that this can't go further than a conversation, but they end up really hitting it off. He finds out why she's there. He takes it upon himself to say that he is going to help her with her dates and suggests that she brings her dates to this bar so that he can kind of help her pick who is going to be the right one for her. So she ends up bringing a lot of dates there. A lot of dates do not go well. And over the course of the story, the attraction between Aaliyah and Ahmad grows. And the story just kind of takes off from there. I really feel like I resonated more with this one out of the other 2 books, just because I completely understand the struggles of online dating. It sucks, it's tough, it's not a fun thing to do, but I will say that her dates in here were hilarious. Her reactions to her dates, the reactions from Ahmad with her dates were really funny. I also really enjoyed that this touched on not only the struggles of like online dating, but like just the judgment that you feel when it comes to being a plus size woman that is trying to date online. But not only is she struggling with that, she also has some struggles with her own family, especially with her uncle, who is so judgmental over her weight and says really nasty things to her. Specifically things like, oh, you're never gonna find a man because of your size. You're struggling with everything that you're doing because of your size. Her uncle just always had a way of like relating everything back to her weight, and he was so annoying. I really liked Aaliyah and Ahmad's relationship. I really enjoyed their banter. She spent a lot of time at this bar. They had a lot of conversations, some of them deeper than others, but I really liked the banter between the 2. I did like Aaliyah and I did like her growth over the course of the story, but honey, she could have saved herself a lot of heartache if she would just ask the right questions. She wasn't asking Ahmad enough questions for me, and it just made it more difficult for herself. If you guys have read this story, you probably know what I'm talking about, but if she would have asked the right questions in the beginning, then, well, I guess if she would have asked the right questions in the beginning, we wouldn't have had a story. But I think she would have been able to save herself a lot of heartache. But I really enjoyed this one. And in this one, you are getting introduced to the other friends in this friend group. And the next friend that we're going to talk about, Nina is featured heavily in this story. She is one of my favorites, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about the next book. So next we have Nina's story, which is Plus Size Player. I was really excited to get to this one because Nina in the first book left a really big impression on me with how hilarious she is. So in this one, Nina is the more confident friend out of this friend group. Yes, she's plus size, but she is really comfortable in her own skin. So much so that she is a influencer, and she kind of like models as a part of like her online presence. And so right now she's just dating around. She is not looking for anything serious. She has guys for different things. So she has like the smart guy, the funny guy, the fun guy, and she calls on them whenever she needs that particular guy. So in this one, she starts to spend a lot of time with the fun one, which is Russ. And instantly, Russ and Nina have great sexual chemistry. They are very attracted to each other. And so while they're getting to know each other intimately, Nina's social media just explodes, and she starts being offered a lot of different opportunities modeling. And this one in particular modeling job that she decides to take actually becomes a conflict of interest with Russ and his job. And so the story just kind of takes off from there. I've already expressed this, but like I said, Nina is my favorite friend out of this friend group because of how hilarious she is, how much she keeps it real with her friends, and how confident she is within herself. This one also talks about the struggles of dating while being a plus size woman, but it also, in her case, talks about the struggles of being a plus size model and how being plus size, you're pretty much discriminated against a lot in the industry. And it was nice to actually see her overcome some of those struggles, but it was eye-opening to see the struggles that even now plus size models are still facing. I did like Nina and Russ's relationship. This story, in my opinion, included a lot of spicy scenes. I wasn't mad at it at all, but the thing I will say about their relationship is that for most of the story, it really lacked a lot of depth. It just felt like they were attracted to each other sexually, and outside of that, I didn't really get enough of what brought these two together. It was towards the end when they started to have deeper conversations and I was able to get more on board with their relationship, but I do wish that we would have got more of that a little bit earlier in the story. And while I'll say that I really enjoyed, watching Nina overcome the struggles in the modeling industry, I will say that's not really an industry that I'm that excited about or that I'm that interested in. And a lot of this story is about her job, about this new job that she got and all the things that's going to come with her being a model. But outside of those few things, I think the one thing that I just really enjoyed about this story in particular is Nina. I loved her in this, loved her in the first book, loved when we saw her in the third book. And then the third and final book that we have here is Big Girl Blitz, and this is Jasmine's story. And so in the other two books, Jasmine isn't as present as the other characters. We kind of hear from her now and then, but this book actually explains why we haven't heard from her, and just based off of the information that we got about why she's kind of like missing in action, I had a feeling that her story was going to be a little deeper than the other two. So for Jasmine's story, Jasmine is actually visiting her aunt over the summer. And her aunt's health is declining, and it's declining rapidly. Jasmine is back home and she is trying to spend as much time with her aunt as she can. However, she's not excited to be back home. She moved away, I want to say when she got in college, and that was because when she was in high school, she was bullied a lot and she was bullied badly. And so her hometown does not have any happy memories for her. So the only reason outside of visiting her parents here or there, she really only goes to see her aunt. So one night while she's there visiting her aunt, she actually goes to a sports bar to watch the game and kind of chill, clear her head, and she runs across Lamar. Jasmine and Lamar hit it off instantly. They are at the bar until it closes. They just connect right away. They end up keeping in touch. They go on some dates here or there. She actually finds out that he is a football player. They actually bonded over their love of football. She is a huge football fan. and he plays for the team that she really likes. So the story is basically following Jasmine as she's trying to like take care of her aunt, as well as this budding relationship between her and Lamar. So I really liked this one. I really liked the relationship between Jasmine and her aunt. I loved their banter. I really liked her aunt, who was very spunky and spontaneous. And I have said this before, I am not a fan of like character making lists and trying to do stuff and check off things off their list. And that's what happened in this one, but it actually made sense. So her aunt knew that she was, unfortunately going to pass away soon. And she forced Jasmine to write this list of things that she needed her to accomplish by the end of the year. This was very fitting for this story. It actually made sense. And I loved watching them work on this list. And I loved how her aunt was like encouraging her to finally live the life that Jasmine is supposed to be living. I also really enjoyed Jasmine and Lamar's relationship. Now, their relationship is not perfect. They, of course, had some struggles because he is a professional football player. She is a plus size woman. It starts to get out that, they're kind of dating and seeing each other, and the backlash on social media is terrible. It puts Jasmine in an uncomfortable situation because it makes her, remember all the bad things that she went through when she was being bullied in high school, but she's also trying to look out for Lamar and make sure that his career isn't going to be derailed. So they have all of that to deal with. I also, in general, just really like Lamar. He was a very nice guy, very considerate, very patient. While sometimes I think they had a little bit of miscommunication, it kind of made sense in this story and it works. Sometimes miscommunication can work for me. Sometimes it does not. But in this story, it did. And I just really liked how their relationship progressed over time. However, my only complaint about this story is that it felt extremely long. None of these books are necessarily short, but for some reason, this third book just felt really, really long. It almost kind of felt like we got to see every single conversation that these characters had, and I don't necessarily think that we needed to. At a certain point, I just kept reading and I was just waiting, kind of like waiting for something to happen. And then I would have to read more and more for something little to happen. So outside of that, I really enjoyed this story. I just wish it didn't feel so long. But like I said, all three of these books I enjoyed. I'm giving each of the books 4 stars. I really enjoyed the main characters. I really enjoyed their romantic relationships. I really like how each book kind of gave you a different kind of tone. I like that the books feature different romance tropes. So if you are really big into tropes, I'm pretty sure you will find a trope that you like in one of these books. So yeah, I really enjoyed the series and I would highly recommend it. If you guys have been keeping up with the series, please let me know down in the comments your favorite book so far in the series if you have not been able to read the 3rd book yet. And then if you have not read the series and I have convinced you to do so, please let me know that down below as well. But that is all that I have for you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.